start until 11:10.
We're on.
What time is it?
It's
Oh,
10:13.
that's what I did. Okay, I see what I did. I made a mistake. I put the start time at 11:10 for some reason. I'm a little what they call in Italian Tuesday Pots today, Michael. A little stupid today.
Well, we're on. So good morning, Vinnie, and have a happy freaky fractious Friday to you.
And a happy, freaky, fractious Friday to you too, down here in beautiful Pasadena, California. I'm here with you with Emily and Daisy are keeping me company right down here, the two dogs.
And what do they have in mind today, do you think?
Well, both of them. Emily never closes her eyes. This is a
No?
dog that sleeps with her eyes open. Daisy is let her intentions be known early. I'm camped here. I'm going to sleep here. I'm going to put my paw over my head, and if you mess with me, there'll be hell to pay. You're going to get a big pile of crap somewhere in the house.
I'll make your day miserable.
And you'll have to find it. But if you leave me alone, I promise you I'll wait till I have to go outside. No such guarantees from Emily.
No.
Emily is a free crapper.
Well,
she
doesn't ask to be let out. She doesn't whine or bark or make her case.
Nope. She just you got to catch her, or you're not going to catch her. So that's what I got sitting here with me today. What do you got over there with you?
I got Kristen Knight, and we're on our way to our 40th anniversary on the 5th of May, the Cinco de Mayo. And I had to look it up to figure out what it was. 40 years equals in flowers, gladiolas, and it equals in gifts, rubies. So it's the ruby anniversary, the 40th. I found that out yesterday. So I guess not today, because we're going to the kids today and seeing Kennedy Quinn Musha's debut in Lion King. She will be one of the I'm trying to think of the name of the animal.
Brother Pumas.
What's the name of the animal?
Lion Eddies?
No, she plays the enemy of the lions. The
not the tiger, but the
hyena. She's a hyena.
I know it was a cat of some kind. I just didn't remember which one. Well,
so I couldn't think of that. I used to call the NBA referees hyenas and jackals.
Yes, I remember that, and which several referees referenced that when they came to town. They loved being
called hyenas and jackals.
Hyenas and jackals. Yes, it was a favorite stop on there. They knew as soon as they got off the plane and somebody at the airport said, "That's a hyena and a jackal," that they were in the right place. Back when we had power.
Back when we had basketball.
Yes, back when we had basketball. It still hurts to see the Oklahoma City team be successful.
Well,
it's still.
I can quote Seattle sports fans. It doesn't matter what sport you're talking about. Someone will call in and say, "Let them go. We don't need them. We never liked them. We don't want them. We never loved them. Let them go. If they don't like it here, and Paul Allen can't save us, there's no plan B." That was always plan A. Plan A, Paul Allen or some
Bill
other.
Gates, Paul Allen, Howard Schultz, and they got what they wanted. They got Howard Schultz.
And how did that work out for you with his 56 limited partners?
Yeah, not well. He was he had enough early on, and he just decided that you know what, I want to get out of this, and David Stern is going to give me a great way to get out of this because he wants a franchise for one of his friends.
And we can blame David Stern, and everybody will forget about it, and they'll still shop at Starbucks.
Yeah,
they won't remember me involved.
Yeah, and he was also fairly PO'd about, if you remember, a year or so before he bought the Sonics, he was involved in a contentious lawsuit with the city about his driveway.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
And his city, remember that? And the city made him tear up his driveway and put the sidewalk back the way it was. And I mean, it was a mess. And he never forgave the city for that. I'm
He never got
surprised he
over it.
didn't move his entire
Corporate
Starbucks.
headquarters to Oregon.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he didn't do that, but
Or
he
move it
must
to
have gotten a
Oklahoma
good
City.
deal on the building.
That's it. Starbucks Incorporated, home, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. There you go.
It's always surprised me that he didn't do it because I can't imagine that he was a well-liked guy. I mean, well, he wasn't really, he never fit in with the people around here anyway. I mean, it was always that outsider kind of thing about him. He was always that guy from New York who came to Seattle and made his fortune here. And people here for many years were kind of against that.
They just resented it.
Well, it was okay that Bill Gates did it because he was from here, and it was okay that Paul Allen did it because he was from here.
And plus, they were going to save the sports teams that Howard Schultz ruined.
Right, and Howard Schultz, he never got the same love from a lot of people that the other guys got, and I think he was convinced that it was because he wasn't from here. Yeah, it was because he wasn't from here.
And there's nothing you can do about that.
Well, you can't. You're from where you're from, Now, there are plenty of other people who aren't from here that have made it, but, there's a certain, I don't know, you want to call it a freeze, whatever you want to call it, but there's a certain non-acceptance of people that aren't from here at times in certain things. It depends on what they need from you, really. I mean, when it comes to that level of people, it depends.
Depends on what your game is. Now, they need coffee, but Schultz wasn't the only outlet for coffee in Seattle. There's SBC and Pete's and everything else. They have Pete's there, right?
Yeah, they have Pete's. SBC, Seattle's Best Coffee was bought by Starbucks, so Howard bought them. There was Tully's for a while, but they're out of business, except they seem to be going real well in Japan. I saw several pictures of Tully's outlets.
Wow.
In Japan. So I guess they franchised them or what, but Tom Tully was doing pretty good with that.
Where do you get your coffee?
I usually get it. There's a place here called Woods Coffee that's down the block. I either go there or I go to Cafe Ladro, which is a small chain, or I go to Starbucks. I mean, listen, if I need a cup of coffee, I'm not worried about if Howard, just like if I want a chicken sandwich, I'm not worried that it's coming from Chick-fil-A, to be honest with you.
I understand.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, who are you now? If there was something really egregious going on, if they were, I don't know, I'm sure that there's something that I could dig up if I wanted to not go there, but it's tough to go. It's tough not to go if you need a chicken sandwich, a good chicken sandwich, except that you can't get out of Chick-fil-A for less than $30.
They don't tell you that. It's not in the advertisement. Come on in. You can't go. You can't leave. Come in and give us $30. We'll let you go.
Yeah, if you get a chicky sandwich, a macaroni and cheese, and a large lemonade, diet lemonade, and you got to get the lemonade because they get the best diet lemonade in the world. I don't know how they do it, but they do it.
$60.
You're $30 in the hole. I mean, $30 used to eat a week at McDonald's. But even if you go to McDonald's to get breakfast, it's $14, $15 anymore.
And they're blaming that on the fact that they have to pay their people $20 an hour in California.
I guess that's what it is.
And it eats into the profits that they would have realized in Washington State somehow.
Well, they got to pay them $20 an hour up here too, so it's not different. I mean, the West Coast, you got to, you're going to make $20 an hour in a fast food place, no matter.
But is a $20 an hour worker in California a better worker than the $20 worker in Washington, or are they on an even comparison?
Beats me. I don't know. And I still refuse to believe that's the reason that they jack the prices up. I still think that it's a
That's
lot
the
of
reason. That's the reason they're giving you that they jack the
right.
prices
I
up.
think it's a lot of greed. I think that they want to keep phenomenal profits.
Who's going to notice? Our
And
customers don't have any sense, so who's going to notice?
yeah, and well, I think it was yesterday morning when I went through. Where did I go? Oh,
What
the
did I
other
do?
day I went to Chick-fil-A when I was sick. I got 2 bowls of soup, chicken soup, and a macaroni and cheese, and a gallon of
$75.
lemonade. And it was almost $40.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Wait a minute, man! This can't. Yeah, I mean, there's something wrong here. It's something." I get the receipt and I look, and no. And then the funniest thing about it is that then they want to charge me 8 cents for a bag.
8 cents.
Yeah. On top of that, it's not enough that you injured me by charging me almost $40 for fast food, but now you want to charge me 8 freaking cents for a bag.
Was it a nice bag?
No, it was a crappy old Chick-fil-A bag.
And
And
what did
it's
they
not
want?
just them. I
Did
mean,
they just want you to take your individual items in the car with you and somehow store them safely?
I guess that's it. I mean, what happens if you go up to them and say, "I don't want the bag"?
You save yourself 8 cents, great America.
Which actually does kind of tick me off, because you should have the option. Do you want a bag? If you're going to charge me 8 cents for a bag, now I'm trying to stay out of fast food places, but when you're sick, they become, you don't want to go inside somewhere or anything. They become the way to go. You just
Wander around in the aisles, forgetting what you wanted.
you just want to drive up to the window, get what you want, and go back home.
Put
You
your
don't
key
want to,
in the drive up, put your key in the plug,
yeah.
put an S on your finger.
Say hello to people, and you know what? You just want to get your food. That's why, I guess that's why Uber Eats does so well, because there you call them up, you order it, and they drop it off at your front door. You don't even have to see the person that drops it off.
And you have to ask them to please make sure that the food is cold when it gets to your place. Don't worry, it's always cold. We
You got
guarantee that.
Yeah, you got to make sure that the food is cold. You got to be prepared to reheat it. You got to be prepared to tip them, and then if you don't tip them enough, you got to be prepared to think to yourself, "Well, if this guy opened the bag and spit in the soup or something?"
Of course he did.
I mean, you have to think about those kinds of things.
There's that $40 lemonade. Pretty tasty, huh?
Well, this is from Woods. I think this was only a $5 lemonade. But when I'm sick, I love lemonade tea and lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a good strong combination. I always like the Trader Joe's Echinacea, but I did not see any of it on the shelves. They have that Echinacea drink
Mm-hmm.
that is very good for your throat.
I remember their pills for chondroitin and glucosamine. Try to say that. Chondroitin and glucosamine. They don't have them anymore.
They don't.
Someone did a test on it and found that there was not only no chondroitin in them, there was no glucosamine either.
Let's say that can be a problem.
No, they were comfortable with it until somebody figured it out.
I get my chondroitin and glucosamine from Costco, where I guess I trust the science there a little bit more. I don't know if I should now or not. Now you've got me thinking. But I take Move Free, is it? And it's pretty expensive, actually. But my doctor says that it makes your joints better. So
does it help?
It helps my knees, actually. Yeah, it does. I think it does. I mean, I don't know for sure. Nobody's like stuck a needle in my knee to say, "Oh, well, this is you're well lubricated."
Did that hurt? Yes, it did. You knew.
Oh.
Was there any question in your mind that if you stuck a needle in my knee, there was a 50-50 chance it was either going to hurt or maybe it won't hurt. Maybe you won't feel a thing. Maybe it'll just be a tiny little prick. You'll hardly know it.
Yeah, speaking about Donald Trump,
how long does it take when you turn on your television to hear the word Trump?
I think it's America's newest game show. It doesn't take long, especially if you fell asleep the night before to CNN or MSNBC.
You turn on your TV and the first thing you hear.
Yeah, it's inescapable. Although I have noticed that, like the straight NBC news channel and the straight CBS news channel do not pay as much attention to the Trump trial as CNN and Fox and MSNBC have.
Well, the evening news format is still a tried and true one, and that is top stories of the day. We have 30 minutes, which counts down to 22 minutes, which means we can do how many stories? How many stories can we do?
This is on their streaming news networks.
But it's the same content that they would do in the nightly news, right?
No, it's a little different. No, it's more long form. It's more early CNN where they're going through they're doing pretty much what you're saying, top stories, and then feature pieces, maybe something on sports, and severe weather, if there's severe weather going on someplace, which can rotate. But both NBC and CBS, because what they do is they leave the long-form Trump programming to MSNBC.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want that, you can go to CNN or you can go to MSNBC. They'll bring the political people in on the CBS stuff, and they have John Dickerson
mm-hmm.
and Garrett.
Garrett Hale.
Yeah, Garrett. Anyway, they have them doing political commentary, and they have a few other people. Every former judge and former lawyer in New York City is working for some staff. So for some,
they're bringing them in ships. You got a 4-hour shift with commentary and notes.
They're parking planes in Los Angeles and saying, "Get on, and we'll get you a free trip to New York."
However, the next anchor that says, "I'm not a lawyer," dies. I just want to make that clear. We know you're not a lawyer. Nobody asked if you were a lawyer. Nobody said, "Anybody here a lawyer? Does anybody need a lawyer? Or I'll get you a lawyer." None of that's going on. They just always preface their remarks by saying, "Vinnie, I know what you want to say. So I'm not a lawyer, but you are. So tell me what that means when the judge brings his gavel down."
What about the ones that are lawyers, though?
They can say they're not a lawyer too. It's not a lie if it's based in truth.
Well, I don't know. If somebody's a lawyer and they tell you they're not a lawyer, that would be a lie. So they would lose their credibility. But as we know, credibility means crap these days.
In fact, if you have credibility, that's all you've got. They don't. Nobody wants you.
If you have credibility, if your shtick is backed up with truth, they don't want you.
That's not shtick. You don't know what shtick is. I'll show you. You got nothing. You got nothing we want.
Go see Alan Dershowitz. He literally can't tell the truth now.
Well, he has his options, but he won't. He's thought about it, and he won't tell the truth. It's like the Giants. It's like the Giants have a man on second base, and they could put a little bingo together and bring him in. But that would be too easy. They're not going to do it. They could, but they won't.
Well,
by the way, there was another Giants moment in Boston where Carl Yastrzemski greeted his grandson, Mike Yastrzemski, who plays right field for the Giants, and Mike Yastrzemski hits a home run in Fenway Park, which I thought was
Did the Red
I
Sox
mean,
fans cheer for that one?
the Red Sox were pretty happy because they got 2 out of 3. If you win 2 out of 3, what are you going to do in baseball? You can't complain.
Yeah, the Mariners won 2 out of 3 from the Braves, and
That's a tough order.
Yeah, when you knock the Braves off for 2 out of 3, I think you got to go home saying
we're playing baseball.
We're doing something. We got something happening here. But going back to the Giants for a second, well, Michael, that's part of what annoys me about the game today is that you don't have people that are centered on putting the game in motion. Everybody is swinging for the fences. Everybody is throwing as hard as they can. Everybody is swinging from their heels as hard as they can. And basically what you have is guys trying to play softball with a hard ball.
They think it's a beer league.
Yeah, I mean, I really do. I mean, you got, it's a beer league without the steroids, or at least without the steroids we know about.
And without the beer, which is what kind of beer league
Right.
is that?
Well, no, there's beer, but you have to pay $20 a cup for it, and the even players that are making $1 million a year aren't going to pay $20 for a cup of beer.
You know what beer hates? Beer hates to be in a wax cup that was intended to hold Sprite or Coca-Cola. It doesn't like that. It wants to be in a glass container or plastic at the outside. I'm not endorsing plastic as a reservoir for beer, but a wax cup, most definitely not. With cellophane on the top that's been sealed, so the beer dies inside.
Yeah,
no
they
life
really
in
don't.
it.
I don't think they sell that anymore. I don't know about down there in Southern California, but you can't pass that crap off on people. Even the cheapest beers, they carry the bottles around in a not a wax cup. I think it's almost like I don't know if I can it's Reddy's blocking it, but it's like a paper cup, a plastic cup,
I see.
and that seems to be. Now, I don't know if you get that because they want you to take it home and remember the Mariners or not.
Well, it's a
But
good marketing play, especially if you feel like you shouldn't throw it away.
yeah, it. Although many people do, um, I still think this is what they pour a beer into, and you take it home and you use it for something else. I still have, when they first made the move over to the plastic cups was back in the 80s. I'm sure you remember. And I still have a ton.
Songers cups.
Yeah, I still have a ton of cups from 89, 88, 87. I have a box in my stuff, and I have stacks of those cups. I remember one time I grabbed like 2 or 3 stacks. I was at I don't know, I was in a game, one of the World Series games, and I grabbed a stack of cups and took them with me. Why not? And I still have them, so I figured they got to be worth something. If anybody wants to have a 1980s retro party, come see me.
And these are Mets cups, right?
No. These are A's Giants cups.
Oh, I see.
The Battle by the Bay.
I was there. I wish I
Yeah.
wasn't. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mind that I was there. I'm sort of romantically mated, but the baseball was just as bad as the earthquake, if not worse. It was just ghastly.
Well, it wasn't pretty if you were a Giants fan.
They just how can you not show up for the World Series? You don't even show up. You don't even come to the game. You don't even get in your car.
Well, Michael, I'm always of the opinion that when you have an event like the earthquake or like September 11th or like several different events that go on, these major tragedies that happen, and people Yeah, baseball doesn't stay a priority to the players. It may be a priority to you because you paid $200 a ticket to get in at the time. But if something happens, the players. I mean, I remember in 2001 when the Mariners went to New York and they took us down to the hole there, where the World Trade Center had been just 30 days before, not even 3 weeks before. And you could see it on the face of the players. They were never the same after seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
After going down there and the smell and the way the city was, and how could you root against? How could you want to beat the Yankees? How could you want to beat New York? Obviously, some guys did, but
not enough.
Yeah, you could feel it. You couldn't be mean. I mean, this is when, the people in Boston were singing New York, New York at Fenway Park. I mean, come on.
Impossible to believe.
Yeah, but it happened.
Yeah.
So I think when you have an event like that in sports, we've always talked about this. The average athlete has a fragile mind. They get affected if they don't get a trade at the trading deadline. They get affected if somebody on the team goes belly up. There's so many different things that affect these people.
No sunflower seeds, a different brand of Coke in the dressing room, the wrong kind of pasta.
Yeah,
your clothes are supposed to be hung on the right. Someone hung them on the left.
It could be as simple as that, believe it or not. From hanging around enough clubhouses, especially, it's the worst in baseball, I think. But I think it's in all sports. I mean, athletes become very spoiled. And I'm not saying that they're spoiled because of a tragic event, but it doesn't take a lot to break the focus of an athlete.
They have a routine, and it has to be this. It's best if it's the same every day.
Right. We saw it with Randy Johnson back in '97. I mean, we've seen it a number of times.
I remember when Tino Martinez was playing we saw the playoffs in it was
1995.
We're back in New York. Tino's hot. And I said to him in the dugout before the game, "What are you doing to maintain your hot streak?" And he said, and he showed me the bat he was using. It was Edgar's bat. He wasn't using his bat. That's where all the hits were coming from. These were hits that were supposed to be Edgar's hits. The bat had them stored up, and Tino was getting them all out of there before anybody realized it. How am I doing it? I mean, I'm not using my bat. I'm using Edgar's bat. It's got all the hits in it. Doubles. One double after another.
And how many times have we seen a team sink at the trading deadline? Like everybody's talking about, okay, this guy's coming over, that guy's coming over, this player's coming over, that, and they don't go out and get the player that the media or they thought they were going to get, whoever it is, and all of a sudden the team goes belly up.
And
or consequently, the team doesn't go belly up. They start to cook. It can go either way. But the psyche of the athlete is so fragile in many cases.
We're going to trade you because you're worth nothing. Wait, we got nothing for you. We're not going to trade you. You're standing here until we can trade you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's something to think about. I mean, it's something that it's not just ability. It's mindset. It's being able to concentrate and to say that this is what we're going to do.
Or not concentrate. Put everything out of your mind and just go with the flow.
Yeah.
But you're asking a lot of a player who's sitting on a bench with all the nervous energy going up and down the bench. It looks like they're doing nothing, but they're all reacting in some ways to the plays and the conditions and the changes and the other pitcher and the other team and the other crowd or their own crowd. Our homies don't love us today. How come they don't cheer for us today? How come nobody loves us? How come our own fans won't back us up?
Oh yeah. Well, that's one of the worst things you can do is to boo your own player. I mean, I've seen guys get bent out of shape
over
when
that.
exactly like they're out there and they're swinging and they're trying their best and people are booing them. And they're like, they'll tell you publicly, oh, you got to put it out of your mind. You can't really listen to but they hear, it's just like when a guy tells you, I never listen to your show or I never hear what you say. And then tells you everything you said about him. I mean, again, fragile egos that can be affected by outside events. And unfortunately, that's what you get. And that was back when people, when young guys were tough.
Yeah.
What do we have today?
Cream puffs.
Yeah, I mean, we got guys on the field with man buns on.
It's not a good look.
I don't get. I saw a guy in the hospital when I was in the hospital. I was in the emergency room, and this guy walks through, and he's got a man bun on, and he's probably in his early 50s.
Oh God!
And I'm looking at this guy, and I'm thinking, dude, do you know how dumb you look? Has anybody in your family or your kids or your wife or your whoever stopped you at some point?
Was he there to get a workup? Was he having medical problems other than the man?
No, he was like a salesman or something. Might have even been a doctor. I don't know. But if I see Dr. Man Bun coming down the street, I got to be honest with you.
Dr. Man Bun Hackenbush.
Yeah, I'm looking for another doctor. I just and listen, I'm not usually a guy that complains about people's hair. I mean, if you spike it, whatever you do with it, God bless you. As long as you have something to play with, good luck. But the man bun thing, I mean, it's not a good look if you're 20.
It followed close on the heels of the hacky sack, so we have to be suspicious of all these things.
Did it? The hacky sack's been around since I don't know, the 70s, 60s, right? I mean, I remember seeing the hacky sack around, when the Grateful Dead was playing the New York State Pavilion in Flushing Meadows, Corona Park in 1970.
People were still wearing their hair down before they put them up in the man bun.
They were wearing open man buns.
Unrealized man buns. You can make a man bun out of that hair.
Right. In 25 years, you're going to have something there. But for now, just,
That's New York advice. I love New York advice. In 25 years, you're going to have something there. Where? There.
Yeah, on the back of your head. But for now, just, get a rubber band. We always forget. I mean, we grew up in a generation where, a lot of guys had long hair. I mean, long hair.
Yeah.
So a lot of them used to put it into a ponytail or put it up, in some kind of. But I never saw, in the 70s, I never saw anybody walk around with a man bun. I just don't ever remember it. Now, you had guys with frizzy hair would tie it back and they'd have the spray coming back, or they'd have an afro or something like that. Or if they had the long, straight hair, they'd usually leave it long and straight. Until, of course, Rod Stewart came along and Faces. And they had those
rooster.
Yeah, the rooster hair.
Short on top, long on the back. A modified.
Yeah, it wasn't a mullet. Mullets didn't come until the 70s.
Mullets was the southern response to the rooster.
Right, right. But the rooster hair was great. I remember the first time I saw it. Well, I think it might have even been like the Small Faces, right? I mean, I remember the first time they had the platform shoes, the skinny jeans, and the rooster.
The rooster hair. Ronnie Wood.
Yep.
And
Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart.
Who else was in that? I can't remember. Not
Keith Richards had the rooster hair for a while.
Yeah, he had it for a while. But Stewart was the first guy, and Ronnie Wood were the first two guys I remember seeing it. And then we had a whole bunch of people that I went to school with. They were just out of high school, and they were driving tow trucks, and they all had the rooster hair.
The whole tow truck phalanx. We tow cars all over New
York. These guys that used to hang out at 90th Street had the rooster hair, but they drove, chase trucks after accidents. And they'd get out, and they'd have the skinny jeans, the platform shoes.
The rooster hair, and then they tow your pickup.
Rooster hair. And then walk over to somebody's car, just hit a pole or something like that.
Where are you taking my car? Impound. You'll be fine.
Oh no, we're taking it to the body shop. We're gonna sign this. Oh my God, I remember that. That was the funniest because you had all these different personalities, but you had.
But they all had the same hair.
That had the rooster hair, and they all lived like in the 90s.
Sure.
Frankie,
where's your hair? How come you don't have rooster hair like us? I'm getting some, but not today. I'm in
the 80s. I can't. I'm on 83rd Street. I can't wear rooster hair.
No, I can't wear rooster hair. And remember, when you get the rooster hair, you have to have frosted tips. So don't forget frosted tips. That's for them.
There used to be. There was a shop, a haircutting shop that we all used to go to, and they used to do the rooster hair. I remember this guy. The place was Natural Identity was the name of the store,
as opposed to the other kind of identity, the
unnatural kind. Natural Identity. This guy John Stevens, great guy, man. Oh, I love this guy. He was such a cool guy. We used to go to Knick games together. He had season tickets, so we used to go. Want to go to the game? Sure, John. Let's go.
Season ticket people run out of people to go with. If they don't have a person that goes with them every night from their family, they have to. I'm going to the game. Doesn't anybody want to see the Knicks? And there was a couple of years there where the answer was no, not really.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was. He had great season tickets to it, and for whatever reason, he couldn't get people to go with him all the time. So, you got a free ticket. I'm going.
Let's go.
Let's hit it. And to be fair, my boss used to give me tickets to the Islanders all the time because my boss had like a row of seats at the Islanders. Mm-hmm. So I'd take him to the Islanders. He'd take me to the Knicks. It worked out
beautifully.
Because that was right in the middle of the 4 Stanley Cups in a row. So that was great. And the only problem was for him is he didn't have a car. So to go see the Islanders, you needed a car.
Because you do have to get pretty close to Long Island to see the game.
You got to get to Uniondale. And you could take the Long Island Railroad to Uniondale, but bring a tent.
It's 2 weeks from Manhattan to Uniondale.
Big plans. It's like get a Sherpa. But, to go to the Garden, you just jump on the 7 train to Times Square. You jump on 2 stops on one stop on the Express, and you're there. You're at the Garden. 30 minutes tops. So, yeah, those was the days. The rooster cut, man. I never forget that. Early in the morning, please don't say you love me.
And you have to do this. You have to keep fluffing it.
Yeah. You got to keep teasing it. Oh, man. Stan Laurel must have loved that,
Oh, that was his thing, yeah.
This
is another fine mess you've gotten me into.
Yeah, and those guys they really took care of their hair, too. They didn't dick around, man. I mean,
it was a thing.
It was a thing. I mean, they were full on into it. I was like, then the mullet came along, of course, and, blew everybody out of the water. I guess that was we're really the first one with the mullets. Leonard Skinner, I guess.
Maybe some country acts.
Yes, something in that neighborhood, of Muscle Shoals, something down there where the two dogs that are out like a light here. Oh, that's so funny.
Are they sleeping together, Emily and Daisy?
Yeah. Yeah, Daisy lays down, and then Emily gets on top of her, crossways, like a pillow, like a couch.
You stay warm that way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And what do we got going on? What are you doing? Okay. No, continue.
Is she taking questions?
No, I think she's trying to stick her head in the bowl there for some reason. We got Kevin here who's sent us a long-time listener from Seattle. God bless you guys. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Kevin, did you have a rooster cut when you were younger?
Well, no, it's not. Kevin doesn't have a picture of himself up here. He's got a picture of his a beautiful-looking German Shepherd, but looks like maybe he had a rooster cut at some point. He looks like an older guy, maybe. So
because you got to commit to it. You have to get it trimmed and fixed and sorted and frosted.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, you can't. You don't just get a rooster cut. It's not like a crew cut where you get it and 6 weeks later you go back. I mean, you gotta be dicking with that thing every day to get it right. You gotta have the right amount of what was that stuff? PSSST, that stuff you used to spray in your hair and it would give you the
body.
Yeah.
Stiffness.
And you had to tease it. I mean, no. I mean, like I said, I never had one, but I saw that the care and the pride that the guys that had them put into it.
They come right up.
Tow truck guys, when they weren't chasing after accidents, they were sitting there with mirrors going.
We're working on their hair and getting ready to tow your car.
Well, it used to be funny because most of them had girlfriends that had the same haircut.
Yes. Yes, that I realized. Donna. Her name was Donna. I'll bet you $50.
Most of them had girlfriends that had the same freaking haircut.
Don't tell me your name is Donna.
And you couldn't tell them apart. The skinny jeans and everything. And he used to wear those short leather jackets, man. I remember. Oh, God.
The furry, fluffy collar.
Well, I don't know if they wore the fluffy collars or not. Maybe. I don't remember the fluffy collars, but I remember those short, like almost like Eisenhower kind of jackets, but leather.
They went well with the midriff.
Yeah, and the tight jeans that I could never wear tight clothes, man. They just felt too
tight,
constricted, and platform shoes are out for me too. I had 2 pairs of platform shoes. First day I got them, I bought them in the Village. Then I was with my then girlfriend Kathy, and so I bought the shoes. I got my regular shoes in the box, and we're walking from West 8th Street to the subway to go back to Queens. And I got these ridiculous shoes on that, are platforms on them like that. And remember that the subways used to have that metal thing across the top of the stairway?
Yep.
That on each concrete piece of stairs so that the concrete wouldn't chip. Well, it started raining.
Oh, God.
And I had, slick soles. And I hit the first step and went tumbling right down the stairs at the IND station on West 8th and 6th Avenue.
And did they give you free admission? No.
Bumper. And I said, I don't know how good these platform shoes are going to be for me.
I remember that
I think I might have worn them once or twice after that.
There was a running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I wish you could remember his name. He got platform shoes with goldfish in the heels, live goldfish. And there was plenty of room in there for the fish to swim because he, of course, was 8 inches taller than he normally was. Isn't that weird? Wasn't that a weird walk to the subway when you first got your shoes because you were
oh my God,
suddenly you were so much taller?
Well, plus I got these ankles that I've had operated on. I mean, they're trashed. I'm 18 years old and my ankles are trashed already.
You had no business wearing platform shoes.
Yeah, I had no business wearing. I mean, I had beetle boots and those hurt.
Sure.
So I should have been smart enough. But you're 18 years old and nobody can tell you anything. And your girlfriend's wearing the platform shoes, so you want to wear the platform shoes.
Plus, she's got a rooster cut, and you don't want to be completely left out.
Kathy never had a rooster cut. Kathy had wings. Remember the wings?
Yes.
Yes, Kathy had wings. Remember that. And
aerodynamic. They're wind tunnel safe.
Right.
You get your head in the wind tunnel, you're okay.
And then after the rooster cut, wings really started to catch on. But Kathy and Jill had wings, as far as I remember. Had those big wings. Anyway, so I didn't want to be shorter than Kathy, so I got the platform shoes. And I went back to sneakers pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I was just, you know what? I'm not going to break my ankles.
And it wasn't long after that sneakers went platform too. You could get platform sneakers.
You could get platform sneakers. I actually remember Flag Brothers having platform sneakers in the window.
Flag Brothers, my God.
Flag Brothers. Well, that's where I got my Beetle boots at Flag Brothers, $9.99. I'll never forget it. And I had to save up for them because my father would not buy them. Matter of fact, I couldn't even wear them in the house.
They represented the English invasion. Nope, we're not having that.
They represented those hippie bastards, those long-haired bastards.
The rooster cut and their stupid wings. Lo, how I hate them.
But to his credit, my old man, as long as I called them Cuban heels, that's what they were. I mean, they had been around in the 40s, I guess, or 50s, as Cuban heels. So
right.
now the Beatles,
which in England they put a sharp toe on them and called them the winkle pickers.
Roach killers, man.
Yep, exactly.
Mikey, we've done an hour on fashion today.
Well, we are the P. Diddy of the whatever format this is.
Yes, what format? We don't have a name for this format. We should get one. We should come up with alternative.
Or Mikey and Vinnie, allegedly.
MVA. Same thing as a motor vehicle accident. Yeah. I like alternative. It sounds like Victor Victoria.
And it sounds like you have choices that you really don't have, but it's self-illusion. You convince yourself that you've got choices.
Right. Well, it's gaslighting at its highest form.
Cooking with gas.
Exactly. We're cooking with gas. Now we're cooking with gas. Mr. O'Connor used to say that all the time, my 7th grade teacher. Now we're cooking with gas.
And what subject was that?
He was homeroom and English in the 7th grade at IS 145.
Did you get any special dispensation if you spoke English in the homeroom?
Well, at that point, it really still wasn't. It was still predominantly English-speaking kids. As a matter of fact, I remember in 7th grade, there were more kids that spoke Chinese and didn't speak English than spoke Spanish and didn't speak English.
Wow. Didn't speak English. That's unusual.
Yeah. I remember, and I'm not proud of this, but it was something that happened. I'm sure, not just with us, but a lot of places. But, you used to get the Chinese kids and teach them the curse words.
Well,
so that, they raise their hand in class and go, "Oh, Mr. O'Connor, F you."
Well, you got to start somewhere.
And Mr. O'Connor would always, Vinnie and Freddie got a hold of him.
Stop hanging out with Vinnie and Freddie.
Yeah. Stay away from Vinnie and Freddie and do yourself good. Oh, man. But, yeah, we probably had 7, 8 Chinese kids that didn't speak a lick of English in class. He'd come over, I guess, from China. or
How did they get by in the school? How did they get by in their classes?
slowly.
Yeah.
But you know what? By the end of the year, they picked it up. I mean, they definitely knew more. At the end of the year, I mean, they were smart as whips. I remember that. Even the Spanish kids were. Even the Spanish kids that came in, because the teachers helped them, and then after school they went to like an English as a second language class.
English immersion.
Right. So they had classes for them, but they had to go to the regular classes also during the day. By law in New York, if you're a kid from X age to X age, you got to go to school, whether you speak English or you don't speak English.
You think Donald Trump's kids went to school? Because there's not a lot of evidence.
That doesn't show.
Exactly. Well, that's my point, I guess. I didn't want to be cruel. Or did I? Did I want to be cruel?
Sure you did.
Okay.
I mean, he finally got, the judge he was complaining about for not giving him off to go to his kid's high school graduation.
They gave him the day.
Gave him the day off. So I'm waiting for a complete day of him just sitting there and tweeting or whatever he does, whatever you call whatever happens on his social network. I'm waiting for a full day of him just tweeting.
It's called truth, so you know that it's not the truth.
Well, remember what was his daughter's wedding? Was it a few years ago? He let loose. He was in his daughter's wedding, and he let loose 250 tweets during his daughter's wedding.
He was at the open bar.
Yeah, hey Dad, you mind coming up here and giving me away?
Be right with you, but first, one more swatted. Who would it have been there? Anybody? Nigel Olsen of the Elton John band.
Yes, yeah. Put on your dancing shoes. That was Nigel Olsen, right? Yeah.
Nigel Olsen was the drummer for Elton John.
Yeah. And he had like a hit with, well, I don't know if it was a hit, but he had a single with "Put on Your Dancing Shoes."
The ones with the goldfish in the heel. Those are the ones you want to put
not
on?
to be confused with Nils Lofgren.
No, not to be confused.
But
Nils Lofgren with Grin. Remember his first band?
Grin, yes. But I do remember confusing them actually once. Getting one.
Nigel Olsen and Nils Lofgren?
Yeah, I remember one time.
It could be a Scandinavian legal firm, Lofgren and
Olsen. Because the Olsen is Olssen, I believe, or Olsson, maybe.
Correct. The second time.
Yeah.
And although he can't do it now, it's at one time in his career he could have worn rooster hair.
Nigel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wouldn't shock me. Well, I'm trying to think. I think there was somebody in Elton John's band that had. I mean, there was probably somebody in every band that had.
Dee Murray was the bass player, and I can't think of the lead guitarist right now, but they both had long blonde hair. Good candidates for
Bernie Leadon?
No, he was in the Eagles.
Yeah. What am I? Shoot. Not Bernie Taupin. That's the right. Who was the guitar?
I just saw him.
Crap.
He's still with him.
Yeah. I can't. It's past my mind now. But so you got a full weekend, man. You got you have an anniversary to celebrate. Now, what besides I'm going to your granddaughter's play,
right?
What else did what? Oh, well, actually, I shouldn't ask you because maybe it's a surprise.
Well, there's two performances. They have the way this theater works. You have alternate casts on different days. And so she has a different part on Sunday.
Well, that's good. So you get to go and see her 2 times.
Yep.
40 years, Michael. How do you stay married for 40 years?
Just one foot in front of the other. It's about the only thing I can suggest.
Keep your head down, I guess, right?
Keep your eyes open, your head down, and your nose clean.
Yeah, I think that's sage advice, man. That's great advice.
Davy Johnstone is
that's it, Davy. Yeah, Davy Johnstone.
And in the picture that I saw, he was not wearing rooster hair, but he could have had he committed to it.
I bet you there's a picture of him somewhere with rooster hair.
You know who we lost recently that used to do the rooster hair was Eric Carmen and
Yes.
all the Raspberries.
Yes, all the Raspberries had rooster hair. Eric Carmen. That was a badass band, boy. Remember they were the next Beatles that year.
Yeah.
Every year back in the 60s and 70s had a next Beatles. These are the next Beatles. And the Raspberries. Well, their first couple albums were.
Well, they were the first Raspberries. They shouldn't have been compared to the Beatles. That just wasn't fair.
But everybody did. I mean, that was because everybody was looking for that, that we can deliver six singles
replacement
off of one album. That's what the Beatles set a whole different standard. And then especially when the Beatles started to go away, everybody was looking for the next Beatles, and out of Cleveland, Ohio, came Eric Carmen and Raspberries, not the Raspberries.
No,
Raspberries.
Raspberries. Okay.
Raspberries. You have to remember that they were raspberries. If you've ever lived in Cleveland or been near Cleveland, they make no mistake about telling you that it's raspberries.
Another mistake by the lake.
There must have been a good music scene in Cleveland at one time. I mean, there was a lot of good radio there, WMMR, and no, that was
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. What was Cleveland's station?
MMS.
MMS, yes, Kid Leo. And MMS, yes. Metro Media.
Was that a Metro Media station?
I think they were. Yeah, I think those three. I think those, and then was it KMET in Los Angeles?
KMET, KSAN, and
WNEW in New York.
WNEW, yeah.
With the Metro Media stations and Channel.
And then they came up with this idea. I've got a great change of format for all those stations. We'll take a successful format that everyone loves in their cities where they are, and we'll have each one change it so that no one likes them. It's perfect. It's exactly what radio is famous for. Monkey see, monkey do until you get a hit, and then you change the hit into something that no one wants.
There's a Popeye cartoon that has always impressed me since I was a little kid, and it's Olive Oyl singing a song called "Leave Well Enough Alone." Leave well enough alone.
We have a 3-2 in New York right now. Yes, but you could have a 4 if we change the format to the point where no one wants to listen to your 3-2. And where will we get the extra people? Well, more people will come to listen to the news station, but none of them listen to it now. No, you're gonna lose all your audience now. Your 3-2 is gone, but you could get a 4 in the long run by changing the format to something that more people want, but currently don't have, and no one's listening to at the moment. It's perfect. Explain that to me again. That's another one from Laurel and Hardy. They go through a long plan, and Oliver thinks about it for a minute and says, "Tell me that again." And Stanley can never recreate the great idea that he had. And now the 3-2 becomes a 1-2, and there is no 4. There's never going to be a 4. You'll never get a 4. And you'll never get your 3-2 back because the people that used to listen to you don't listen to you anymore. So tell me that again.
Were you able to hear that by any chance?
I'm able to hear the thumping that I hear.
Somebody's been trying to get me from telemarketing. Somebody ought to tell these people that don't put telemarketing on
your call out.
On your call out, and you may actually get somebody to pick up the phone. It's got to be like the loneliest job in the world. Let me see if I can do this real quickly. All right, share screen.
Is this for people who are thinking about getting a rooster cut today?
Yes, yes, and all program directors.
You're going to play Wonderful Wino?
Wonderful wino. All right, let's see if this works. This is it's very complicated sometimes, this system that I use to present the show. It shouldn't be, but it is. Anyway, I tried to bring up Leave Well Enough Alone with Olive Oil singing it, but that's the song. Every time I've walked into a program director's office, that song has rung in my knot. It's like, "Leave well enough alone."
And Olive Oil didn't do a lot of singing. She could have, but
She could have, yeah, she could
within
have had a career, Olive Oil. She could have been, she could have had her own family.
Bluto could have had some screamo hard rock lyrics.
Yeah, I don't know what Bluto could have done, man. Bluto was kind of limited. Popeye had some potential because he could spin his pipe around, and he got charged up from spinach.
And he could mutter.
Get, 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 get. He always had that little get, 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 get.
Yeah.
Speaking about spinach, what about Biden, man, trying to get the youth vote?
Eat your spinach. Be strong to the finish.
Because he eats his spinach. Well, it's saying that we're going to declassify marijuana. Make it a schedule, what is it, a Schedule D drug instead of a Schedule A? So it will be, it'll be basically on the same schedule as anabolic steroids.
But is that going to work in Texas where they like to put people in prison for getting high?
I don't know. Who knows what's going to work in Texas? I mean, in Texas, they want to monitor women's ovulation and period apps, the apps that tell you what day of your period is. Maybe we ought to just let them go. I mean, they say they want to secede from the union. Why don't we just fire them? Can we fire them as a state?
It hasn't been done, but I believe that there's no legal precedence, but maybe necessity will provide a way. And what will they be? Will they be an independent republic?
Well, let them be what they want to be.
With no currency?
They can put a border fence up, 50 feet high.
60 feet, I'd say.
Yeah, we're going to fire you, but we're going to put a fence on our border. Down there with Oklahoma and with New Mexico and with wherever else. I think they touch Colorado for
the Gulf of Mexico. By the way, the Gulf of Mexico belongs to Mexico, obviously. Just think of the name of it. Is it the Gulf of Texas? No.
So if you want to send a ship through
none of that, no
Gulf
ships.
of Mexico to like Galveston and stuff like that.
No, we're not having that.
We got enough oil in Alaska. We don't need you. We don't need the oil. You can go sell the oil to somebody if you want. But we're going to put 1,000% tariff on anything that you make there. So you'll screw Bezos and Elon Musk. They'll be really screwed.
They make cowboy hats. I think they make Stetsons in Texas.
Probably in Oklahoma, the labor's cheaper.
Cowboy.
But I just kind of had it with Texas. I've just gotten to the point where you want to be your own nation. You want to secede from the union. You want to monitor people like that. You want to all walk around with guns. Good, do it.
And when they do it, I think they're going to make Houston the capital because Austin is not very Texas in their mind.
Right.
Austin doesn't work for them.
Right. We'll drop Puerto Rico when it's the 50th state. We won't lose any time.
It's called a switch out. You just switch them out. It's easy to do. You don't have to change the flag or anything.
And if we sent Puerto Rico all the money that we send Texas, the place would probably look like New York City inside of 5 years.
Until the Cowboys have got to play in the Canadian League if they want to play football, and that's really up to the Canadians, not the Cowboys.
Oh, you throw them all out. You throw the Astros out. You throw the Texas Rangers out. The Cowboys. The Texans, the hockey team, everybody goes.
University of Texas, out you go.
Yeah, there's Charles. You strike Charles Whitman's name from the books of mass murderers. I mean, you just go the whole distance.
Well, that's unfair. He worked hard to be a mass murderer. He
He
was the
did.
first. He broke the mold.
He did. He was. A lot of people say he was the first kind of mass shooter up there on the tower.
And he had to keep pausing and reloading because he didn't have an automatic weapon.
Right. And to be fair, Richard Speck is probably the first, because he got the 8 nurses in Chicago. So
he thought kidnapping / murder was more controlled. He wanted to control the environment. Not just willy-nilly shooting at everyone in the classroom.
Right. Charles Whitman was he was ready to shoot anybody. Man, crazy.
Hook 'em horns.
God. Yeah, you can get rid of Texas Christian. You can get rid of Baylor, the whole thing, man. Send it out. I rather, Tulsa becomes our southernmost city down there, As a matter of fact, if you could talk them into it, I'd tell them take Louisiana and Mississippi with you. You could have 3 states of nothing.
I think you should keep going. Just consider the map. What do you need Arkansas for? What do you need it for?
Well, if you keep going, then you have the Confederate states. I mean, I don't know about that.
Yeah, they could print their own money and have their own uniforms. They could be gray.
Although I'd happily give them Florida.
Florida wasn't in the Confederacy, though.
Yeah, but it might as well have been.
They were complacent. No, they were
still getting over Vasco da Gama, is what they were doing, or Ponce de Leon.
Those guys really tore the place up. It was not easy dealing with the Fountain of Youth.
It took them 100 years to get over Vasco da Gama.
And there's still lots of streets or one long street in Miami for Ponce de Leon.
Yeah, Ponce Avenue.
And it's not the Fountain of Youth. I talked to him about it. It's called the Fountain of Ute.
Of Utes, yes. You drink that stuff in that water, and Utes have been pissing in it for hundreds of years.
And happy to piss in it again today.
Wow.
Not to mention Biscayne Bay.
I think we've done enough damage today, Michael. I think we've mangled the English language. We haven't delivered, I don't know. Well, we have delivered a quick review of hairstyles of the 60s and 70s.
If you weren't there, don't be critical. Try to understand the rooster cut had meaning far beyond its ridiculous look.
Just Google it. You'll probably see a picture of 8, 9 guys standing by a yellow tow truck by 90th Street Park, arguing with each other over 2 cars that are smashed up on the corner of 32nd Avenue and 88th Street.
It'd be nice to see their girlfriends with the same hair.
Oh, yeah. Well, you look in the truck, and there's somebody sitting in the truck, and I got the same hair.
Is she doing her nails? Is Donna doing her nails?
Probably. I mean, and then you move out to Long Island.
And there they are, the Islanders with rooster hair. There had to be hockey guys with rooster hair. There had to be, because they have adopted the mullet and they won't let go.
I don't know. I think they were. Yeah, I don't know if they were hockey guys. I don't know if those guys were really that much into. I mean, I know a few of them were into sports, but I think they were much more into cars. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I have to think back on it a little bit, but I don't know if they were really. And if they were probably Yankee fans anyway.
And what do you think the Roosters felt? Here we've been denied respect because we're roosters, and now this. Now they're making fun of our hair. And the rooster, every time you startle them, they go like this, and their hair would wiggle.
Yeah.
Their crown of hair. Don't startle the rooster. It makes his hair go crazy. I'm going to have to fix it for him.
They used to get in the tow truck with their hand over their head. No. They used to get in the tow truck with their hands over their head, like how the police will put people in cars now.
Protect your hair. Protect that rooster cup, for crying out loud.
Yeah, they weren't worried about their skulls. They're worried about...
Frankie, don't just get in the truck. Have a little respect for your rooster hair.
I don't want to lose my my cock
My
at a
quaff.
walk, you know.
Shall we see each other Monday? What do you say?
Why don't we do that, Mikey? If the Lord's willing, the creek don't rise. I'll be on with Drive Time tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We will evaluate the Kia EV9 Rooster Edition, and John Vincent of U.S. News and World Report will join us, and we'll rap and flap about Mudfest and about the cars we've driven lately and everything like that. So tune in for that tomorrow morning at 11, if you please.
Have a good show, Ben.
Mikey, take care of yourself. Peace, love, and roosterness.
Manischewitz with rooster droppings. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus.
Bye,
See ya.
See ya. See all you too, man. Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.